Get full episodes of The Damage Report as a podcast on iTunes and Android, and you can watch the live show every weekday on YouTube TV. Donald Trump is dead set. There was no blue wave. In fact, he did way better than could have possibly been expected in these midterms. It's ridiculous when you look at the numbers. The Democrats did better than they have in literally decades in most of these areas. While picking up hundreds of state legislature races, tons of governorships, they won by like 7.5%, which is bigger than past waves, all of that. So the numbers don't bear out his claim that there was no blue wave, but he is still saying it in public. But behind the scenes, it's not looking so good. So now we get to do one of those fun things that happens 4 times a year, Donald Trump's dark mood. That's always one of my favorite things in the media.
It's only 4 times?
Something like that, It happens from time to time. So his mood apparently has changed as he has taken measure of the electoral backlash that voters delivered November 6th. With the certainty of the upcoming Democratic House majority will go after his tax returns and investigate his actions and the likelihood of additional indictments by special counsel Robert Mueller, Trump has retreated into, and I love this, a cocoon of bitterness and resentment, according to multiple administration sources. And if you've been following his social media, well, he still says there was a blue wave. He is just lashing out at everyone. Like he's potentially going to be cleaning house of some of his highest level officials. He's attacking foreign dignitaries.
Yep.
Yes, he always does that to some extent, but he has been on a tear recently. I was described by one of the people that the Washington Post talked to. He's furious. Most staffers are trying to avoid him, and they said that he is a brooding president trying to decide who's to blame, even as he publicly claims that he has won.
This is, I don't know, there's so many elements of an insane dictatorial person in their mindset, along with a child. So the way that these types of personalities collide, it ends up being scary. So you alluded to the going after foreign dignitaries. So as he was going to Paris on Friday, I was reading this just yesterday, Trump received a congratulatory phone call while he was on Air Force One from one Prime Minister, Theresa May of Britain. Am I right? So,
yes.
In doing so, he instead lashed out, went off on her, got mad at her about Brexit, anything else that he could possibly blame her for. Yeah, Iran, their involvement with Iran. Anything he could blame her for that would be the reason why his party lost the House. Didn't lose the Senate, just lost the House, right? But that's enough. So he needs someone to glom onto. Maybe there was a sarcastic tone in her voice. Maybe she would, congratulations, Donald.
Or maybe she didn't do any of that, and it doesn't matter because he is a child.
And the thing is, it's absolutely, there's no way it's believable that she went on the phone and had a sarcastic tone and said, nice job, Donald. No, he's just so within his own feelings that that's what he hears. You know, if someone is sitting in the room and they're crying over something, and then someone comes and says, hey, you doing okay? I'm doing fine. No, like, man, just checking on you, bruh.
Yeah.
You know, it's one of those things. So he's so in it, and we talked about how he was worried about indictments coming down potentially with Trump Jr. and all these other people, players around him. He doesn't have the same level of cover that were provided to him in his first couple years in office, and he's panicking.
Yeah, and that's one of the reasons why they're probably gonna be cleaning house. We saw a story, we didn't end up doing it yesterday, but it was that the chief of staff, so Kelly, might be on the way out. Why? Because he's clashed with Melania Trump over travel details and things like that. That's not why. That's not actually why he potentially might be kicked out. There are other explanations, and you can read between the lines to get those. By the way, if you think, well, this is just one aide sort of complaining after the election, no, the Washington Post spoke with 14 administration officials that are not on the record, but the Washington Post knows who these people are, and they all tell the same story. Apparently, especially during his recent trip to Paris, they said that he brooded over the ongoing Florida recounts, which we know he's been talking a lot about, sulked over key races being called for Democrats. He erupted at his staff over media coverage of his decision to skip a ceremony honoring the military sacrifice of World War I. Well, here's the thing, you could have avoided that by going. And he had that experience. He didn't go to this thing. He hated the media coverage. So what does he do when he gets back? Well, for Veterans Day, it has been the tradition since JFK that you lay the wreath on the tomb of the unknown soldier. He doesn't do that either. It's 2 miles from the, like you could just go and do it. He chose not to. And so he's inviting this conflict with the media to some extent. Now, in the background too, we're not gonna talk too much about this, but apparently he's been pulling back from a lot of his normal duties, not just stuff like this honoring thing. But on Monday of this week, the White House press corps said that he was done. They called a lid on activities at 10:03 a.m.
No, man.
He was just done. He wasn't doing anything more.
This is an 11-year-old going through puberty. 12-year-old sitting in his room locked up. I'm not coming out all day. This is, And then it sounds like I'm joking about it, but this is how are you gonna put a lid on? You're the president of the United States. You go in the White House and you say, "Hey, tell everybody I'm not coming out. I'm sad today."
Yeah.
No, that's not how this works. You're a 72-year-old man. If you don't want to do it, leave.
Yeah, leave. You can leave anytime you want. You'll be perfectly fine.
There's no law that says you have to stick around and put up with these meanies that keep holding you accountable and make sure you're honestly. Carry out the most basic tasks. Like, again, laying the wreath, it's a ceremony.
Yeah, you should be honored to be able to do it.
Nothing is more important than what's in his own mind. Like, he's like, you know what, they hurt my feelings. People are coming after me now. They said they're gonna do this and that. Nothing is more important.
And look, here's why I think that this is important. This is not just, it's fun. It is fun, but this is important because look, some people will say, well, why are you focusing on his mood? And if he's not doing any of his duties and he's lashing out at people, that's just the president. People actually say this, people who want to pretend that the president isn't the single most powerful person on the face of the earth right now. So we're not gonna play that game here. The reason it's important is Donald Trump is not in this cocoon of resentment and fury, and that's it. He just sort of hides in his room for the rest of his presidency. He feels he has lost control. He wants that control back. Based on what you know of Donald Trump, how does he try to get that control? Does he work with the other side in pushing for legislation that will improve the conditions of the working class in America? No, of course not. He's going to do crazy things. And so this video that we're doing right now is both, a little bit of schadenfreude, I guess, after the election, but it is also a warning that in all of these areas where he still has extreme unilateral control over government policy, a control that he has been willing to use since day one, God only knows what sorts of executive orders he will put forward, who he will nominate for positions. And so when he goes into this cocoon, that is a warning sign for you to buckle up, okay? Hold on to your butts, as they say in Jurassic Park, because bad things are probably coming.
Before he had the ability to tell the folks that were covering for him, hey, you're a Republican, I can get you kicked out of here. I can make sure I campaign against you, which he did against several of them that he thought were against him. He doesn't have that control over certain folks anymore. And we'll see what they do. We'll see if they follow through with the things that they said they want to do with these incoming Democrats. But he doesn't have that anymore. So now all that's left is, I hope.
Yeah, and by the way, as an early sign of the sorts of things he might be willing to do, I know some people want to pretend that this isn't a big story, but they banned a reporter from the White House. And it's so egregious that all of these different media outlets have filed amicus briefs over the lawsuit that CNN is launching against the White House. Fox News joined it today. They are fighting with those other media outlets because they know that this is an unprecedented, insane thing to do. But it is exactly the sort of thing you do if you feel you've lost control and you want to feel like the big kid in the room again. So, watch out for more of that. Thank you very much for watching this clip from the Damage Report. If you liked it, don't forget to subscribe to this channel and ring the bell on YouTube to get notifications of our new videos. And of course, you can catch the full Damage Report live every weekday at 1 p.m. Eastern, 10 a.m. Pacific on TYT Network on YouTube TV.